All right. Let's see who is going to pop in. Okay, anybody in here? And I am going to close a bunch of stuff. All right. How's it going, folks? To start off here, let's pull up our document. Let's see where we're working on verbs. I think we're basically done with verbs. I need to see there may be something additional that would come for verbs, but we're gonna have to see about how that would come out. Let me minimize things. Hello, Magpie. How you doing? Uh Anybody also watching the Cursed Conlang Circus? Because I was in there for a little bit. That's interesting. So I want to give you guys a little peek of how I am doing my dice tables because I did my poll about numerals and I realized I had to make sure I redid my dice dice table for that because so when I was working on my dice table, I did actually exclude languages that didn't have any of the features in Grand Bank because when I checked that, it was all notated that this language has no native numerals. By the way, the Grand Bank because the Grand Bank features are the does it have a decimal system? Is there a decimal system? Is there evidence of a a quinary system? I think a base 5 system, and is there evidence of a vigesimal system? And they also have a feature for body tally. Um, and if you get a language that has none of those, and it only counts the native numeral systems, apparently, at least that's the instructions you have for coding. So anything that borrowed something wholesale, then you're not including that. But uh, initially, I had just threw the body tally in there, but I read more on Grand Bank about how they define a body tally system, and I read a little bit of information about body tally systems and realized that they tend to also be a limited numeral system. And the reason I excluded number one languages that have like limited or no numeral system, I want to exclude those, and I want to exclude the body tally system. Is not that I consider that like wrong or anything. It's just that if you are going to make a language that way, it has to be a world building decision that occurs under certain social circumstances. If anything, you've got any society more complex than like a small hunter gatherer group or a very small village, you are going to need a substantial complex numeral system. So, like, that's probably what most people are making. And this is a language for dragons. You could make an argument that dragons don't really need numerals, but D&D dragons are spellcasters. They interact with humanoids in complex societies, and they keep track of giant hordes of whatever that type of dragon hordes. So I feel like they kind of need it. But anyway, the whole point of saying that is that I decided I need to actually exclude body tally as well, because body tally systems tend to be limited. They tend not to have actually a stable numeric base. So what I'm going to do is show you how I go and derive my tables. Now, previously I've been doing this all in one giant um, R script that is basically mostly me taking notes in a way. But I decided I'm going to start pulling these out individually into individual scripts so I can work on them more easily. And what I have here is the link typology is the package that I use. Oh, I don't actually have this on screen. Hold on. Can you guys see that? I don't know how to zoom necessarily. Yeah, okay. You can zoom in on. So this is the package that I use to access GramBank. It also will let you access Foible and Walls, and a number of other online databases for linguistic typology stuff. This is just to make some data manipulation easier. And so what you do is you call this GramBank feature, and that returns a data table with just these features that you want. And something I learned as I went along is that when you select your features for GramBank, it will only return information for languages that have a, a marking for all of those features. If it's a question mark in any of them, it'll exclude them, which is nice. Um, so I do that. And this is just some stuff to check things. And then I have a filter for things that actually have these three features, so that I am excluding things that only have the body tally, or that only or that have no numerals, or like limited numerals, because there's languages, when you talk about languages that don't have a full-fledged numeral system, they can have just like one and many, which is basically like nothing, or they can have one, two, and many. Usually by the time you have a language where you can count to five, then it just explodes into a full-blown numeral system with a numeric base that can count into an infinity. Now, so I have this numerals exist. I do a summary of that by percentage. I I'm going with that. You can also just do it by the count, just by you doing the n. Um, this just saves me a step, and then I write that to a CSV and put it in Excel, and I've already plugged in. So I round it, and I'm making a dice table for a D100, right? So I have already percentages. There are other things you can do in order to do other dice, but for this one, a D100 works well. This is I've got this formula wrong. Mm, mm, oh, okay. So this should just be this should be just this plus one. Is that how it's going to work? Is that going to resolve correctly? Or is it? Yeah. 77, 78. No, that's not 6. 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82. That's what am I doing differently? Okay, I'm going to pull up my old so that I can just copy paste my formula from, and then I will make sure that I have that right. Okay. Um, okay, yeah. So, right. So it's this plus this. Okay, so add these two together to get the next number in the line. And then this, you are adding up this and this. And this gets you the range that you roll on the dice. So, because you need to be able to see, like, let me see if I can blow that up for people watching. This is the low point on the die, which is 1. And then it's 1 to 66 gets you the first option, which is just a plain decimal system. And then 67 to 76 is decimal plus what? 334 is quinary decimal. So some base 5 in there. I've sorted this by frequency, by the way. So this is just quinary, just base 5. This is just vigesimal, which is a little wild. Then I have quinary and vigesimal, and I've got decimal and vigesimal. That's French, basically. I think at least I think it's continental French does that. Is it? I'm not sure. Um, and where quatre visa, the where you have some base 20 numerals and also you have base 10, and then you have a combination of all three, which I believe Ojibwe and maybe Nahuatl have that, but that will be you'll have a 2% chance of getting that because it's about 2% of languages that do that. So I'm planning on doing a little bit of work on numerals today. And for that, I had to revise that dice table. And this means that I have to edit this, which I will. Uh, I will go ahead and I will do that part later. I'll just roll with it. And we're just gonna roll. Uh, since we're mostly done with verbs, I do think that we're going to be mostly doing. That's another thing that I'll let people know about. I'll mostly be like working on the I think we're kind of done with verbs unless I end up putting some classifiers on verbs. I'll have to roll on the classifier table soon. But I kind of want to do numerals because I also did a poll. And I did a patron poll. And the answer I got was that I should. No, I did not mean to pull that one over. It was, what the heck? Why does it keep? Is I should roll on this table, but instead of base 5, base 10, and base 20, I should convert that to base 4, base 8, and base 16. And that's because, I was just looking at official art. Mostly I was just like looking at the entries for dragons. I can show you guys on D&D Beyond. Let's search. Where's monsters? Search everything, just dragon. And let's restrict it to monsters. And we need to go look at one of the basic dragons. So let's see. Ancient gold dragon. Is there a picture? Okay. You can't see the claws there. You can't see the talons clearly there. I think the ancient bronze dragon. If you look there and you really like, can I zoom in on that? Can I actually zoom in? Let's view the full image and scroll down. See, it looks like he's got, from the art, 4 usable toes, at least on his forelimbs. So, and looking at all of the like official art on D&D Beyond, it does seem that he's got this little spur here, but you can't count with that. You can't do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and count with this thingy here. But he's got apparently 4 claws. You can just barely see one of them out here, and then this thumb-like claw that would be hidden here. And basically all of them that I can see the claws of. They've got like 4 claws on their talons. So I'm just going to say that dragons, at least these particular dragons I'm making a language for, have 4 claws on their talons. And for that reason, they will favor base 5, base 8, base 16 rather than what humans do, or not, yeah, base 4, base 8, base 16 rather than base 5, base 10, base 20 like humans do. So that's what we're doing. And I'm going to roll. I'm just going to pull up my numerals exist some. And we're going to find out how numerals are constructed. Now, there's a whole lot more nuance to numerals, and I'll see whenever the numeral bank database goes up, I will have to see if there are more features that I can build into dice tables. But for now, it's just going to be just creative building for most of it. I got a red die. Is there a red for the other? Where's the other red percentile die? Okay, I don't have matching colors for today, but I can bring this down here and I can get the screen share out of the way so that you guys can see better. And actually don't know how well you guys are going to see because my light is kind of funny. I really should get a document camera. 50 and okay. 59. Okay. So let's share the screen again. We go over to here and 59. It's just, if this were a human language, it would be decimal, but we're going with octal. So that's what we're going to do, where I'm going to go ahead and put a new section, numerals, and I'm going to have this is, I got to make this a heading. No, it's got to be heading. Okay. So Draconic, yeah, numeral Draconic. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At minimum, we've got to start with 1 through 8, and then we have to do 8 squared, which is 64, and then 8 cubed. Calculator. Yeah. So we'll have to do. Yeah, we'll have to do 64 And then 8 cubed is 512. Well, and then we'll go to the third place. Uh, 512 times 8 equals 4096. Is that right? Yeah. 8 to the fourth is 4096. That's very interesting. So we go to 8, 64, 512, 4096. So I think that's a 4-digit. So I think actually it's probably going to make most sense to make this. This would be equivalent to a base 8 myriad system. So it's going to be um, like how Chinese has one, right? For 10,000, right? This would be the equivalent of the 10,000. And since that's like half of 1,000, and then this is less than half of 10,000, it's kind of a weird middle area where I think it's probably best to go ahead and go up to that, go to four places. But let's get to thinking about what are these numbers going to be, right? We need to start generating some roots and thinking about what the numerals will look like. And whoever's on now is going to get to determine some of that. Okay. So pull up Lexergy. Wow, my stream is way behind. Are you guys just now seeing? Okay. Well, I can't really say anything about that. So get to Lexifer and go. Oh, let's just generate. I'm going to generate 20 roots so that I can start picking out. Jatask is not going to be a number. That's very big to be a number. Although, I mean, you can get big stuff. I want to keep that though. I'm going to put that in my list of roots that I have. Uh, oops, get the. I mean, we could use it for a number. I'll just hold on to that. And if that's not super interesting, but I think Nuki and Atra. Nuki would be great. I think these. I don't want to have too many. Start pasting. I don't want many that start with the same thing. So let's prune things a little bit. Cha, Yugi, Atra, De, Pi, Ajad, 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 Geek. Hmm. Hmm. So we've got, this is 7. Let's generate some more. B, P, T, Mp, Mp, Mkin, Ngin, MP, MP. Kind of like MP, MP. B. Yeah, it's not MP, it's B, B, B. Kind of, I'm fine with having one of the lower numbers be more complex, but not necessarily all of them. And then right. And then we need 3 more words for the 64, 512, 4096. So I think, I'm going to actually go ahead and grab this one and put that in as well. For that. Okay. And then when 64 and 512 I need. So let's go in here and see. Oh, yeah, yeah. It's gonna end up, yes, Madame Knees. we're going to end up with an octal system because that's what patrons voted for. And if you want to uh, have that kind of influence, you can go subscribe to the Patreon. But anyway, but that was what I was saying is like in official art, they seem to have like 4 usable claws for counting. So they're gonna have their hands are like this basically. And sometimes I'll have a spur up here, but you can't really count with that. So we'll just be counting this way. I had other ideas for how they would count, actually. Um, I originally had an idea that they would count the segments, that you could count the segments on the finger. But for one, I'm not clear on how many segments they actually have on their claw. And for another, they don't really have opposable thumbs, so you can't really like the idea was do like this. So that's maybe something I will do for another conlang. I just thought it would be cool to like have that and make it so that like when you're casting magic missile, you could count like that and count 1 and point to where it goes. 2, 3, but it's just not going to work for this language. So I'll have to find that a different way. I'm going to have to deal with that in a different language, maybe if I go with it at all. So we have yeah. The hands of their victims. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's some dragons are good aligned, so that doesn't necessarily fit the theme, does it? Oh my. But so we're doing numbers, and the answer was to count on this table. The other idea I had was to actually um, have them count their limbs, because like the number of digits is kind of an iffy thing, because different art, I'm sure that there's art out there that depicts D&D dragons with different numbers of digits, but um they could have killed evil creatures, maybe. I don't know. D&D morality is kind of always weird to me. I need to switch to live chat just to make sure I'm getting everything. um but but the I have decided that dragons are predatory, and I am coming at this language from the sense that this is a predatory animal, and that's the mindset I need to be in. Um, if you followed my Lexember, there's some references to like the early theme was organs, or well, body parts, and then I moved on to organs, and I was having them frame the organs by how they taste. Um, just because that's what I thought they would do. Um, now let's work out. I want to so where was I? The Lexergy. Um yeah, I kind of like, so what does that turn into? Jachazg. Jachask. Jachask. Jachazg. Jachask. Jachask. I I don't know how that resolves actually. Jachask. That's going to be a question I might have to alter some things. I'll have to check that out, the Dune system. I also really dislike D&D alignment, and I can tell you the time from where it started bothering me the most was I need to close Slack. Okay. Is m- my brother-in-law I was my brother-in-law ran a few games with me. So I was in a couple of his games, and I te- I think a couple times was creating a character with a lawful neutral alignment, with the idea of like he has like a code of honor, or he has a to particular, he likes order, he likes to like to follow certain like rules. But he, my brother-in-law was interpreting it as, oh, he just always follows the law. And I'm like, no, that's not how I see lawful neutral. And so, and like as time has gone on, I've just understood that like different people have different interpretations of the alignments that really make them less useful than than what I would like. And it's been very long time since I've ever had like an opportunity to run a game or playing a game. But like if I'm the next time I'm DMing, like my idea will be like, okay, alignments are for outsiders. Alignments are just categories of supernatural beings, and we don't need to worry about what humans do. There's a lot of other more interesting ways to define the moral beliefs of your character than this good, evil, law and chaos stuff. But anyway, uh digressions. Easy to lead me on digressions. Let's get back into the task at hand. I'm gonna take this. I'm just gonna get 5 more and get looking for Beck. 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 I like that. Uh-huh. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It sounds like the particular ideas in there are also kind of built with that world in mind. So it would be interesting to like adapt that system to. Oh, this is sweet. Okay. So these two can be related now. So Beck, I think I'm gonna make these two related, and then I'm going to. Will this work as the? Can I don't have. I can. I'm. I think I'm just going to make up one. So, it. We have a lot of. Have a lot of tense words here. No, it's pretty balanced. I think we're going to do this. How about that? Egim, egim, mbeg, jachask. There we go. So this came from historically like 864s, right? But they got glommed together and like the etymology is not clear anymore. So that's the kind of thing. I like to do that sometimes. Do the randomness, and then sometimes the randomness will let me see, okay, I see this, and I see where it came from. So we're going to get back into my Draconic notes and get this. And just for my own records, I need to, because I'll add these all into the lexicon eventually, but I need to go and uh, get the etymologies there because I always list the etymology. So let's where was I? Okay, so I need to get the inputs. Okay. So we have our basic numbers. The question we have now is when we get into more complex numbers, how are they constructed? So, the easiest thing to do is just to crib on Chinese, right? And you can have then you would have but I've got to think in base 8 now. So then you would have 9 would be equal to would be equal to what? Mbu cha, right? And 16 would be equal to 20 20 would be equal to um uh Nyugi Nyugi Nyugimbu Nyugimbu bu bu right. um and like that's a solid way to do things. It's also like very simple, so it's easy to use, it's easy to learn, which is would be nice, but also it's kind of boring. So we could also go with making like, okay, 16 equals 20 and have something derived from Yugi, right? It's just kind of like how English does. And so we'd have am I sharing my thing? Yeah, I'm sharing. Okay. I'm I'm looking at my stuff here, and I'm seeing that people are yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's a little bit tricky. It's a little bit tricky here. Okay, so we could also have like add some kind of a suffix or something. Um, so the question would be what and you can also have weird things like okay 9 to 15 would be different. Right? Because that's equivalent to uh 11 to 19. I guess I guess you actually would write it as 11 to 17. Yeah. Just like but just like so those are the two things is often your powers of 10 will have unique words that are like maybe derived from these words, and also it's pretty commonplace for um the teens to be different. Um, Both of those things occur in English, right? And like Ho Chunk, I know has the teens are different, um, and it has sort of a derivation. Um, I'd have to look that up. See how does Kiripana Noop how does but like it's the you add ashana, which is like above to the teens, and then you get into to weird stuff. So, and I don't have like numbers on that kind of thing, and I don't have particular particular questions, ideas for that. Um, when Numeral Bank comes out, that may have some more information on how frequent things are, those kind of things are. But for now, I think I'm going to actually leave this to a poll. Let's run a couple of polls. We're going to say, uh, um, um, let's just say first, uh, are powers of 8 transparent, like 2, 8, 3, 8. Wait. Oh, no. Oh, no. Multiples of 8, right? It's multiples of 8. Not powers of 8. Multiples of 8. Or are they derived? In 1632-40, the first one. It's multiples. Just like just like in a base 10 system, you're talking about 10, 20, 30. In English, those are derived, right? It's you've got 20, 30, 30, 40, right? Um, in Chinese, it is actually 20, 210, 30, 310, 40, 410. So I'm asking if we're going to do the base 8 equivalent of that. So okay, that's not okay. I'm sure you guys are watching. You understand what I'm talking about. I already have 64, 512, and 4096. I've got terms for those. So let's see. I feel like you guys are way behind me in the stream, like much more than usual. So that's interesting. We got some more people to vote. You guys need to get it in there so we can have this. And this we could have, yeah, yeah. It's pretty big. There's a pretty big gap. I don't know what's going on with that. I guess it must have been some problem at the beginning with my connection or something. Okay, starting to get some more things coming in, some more votes coming in. I'll just try to let everybody have a vote. Okay, one other thing I want to talk out actually is I have in the process of so we had this tongue twister that happened, right? For Ipibe Abapa Abapa Betcha Abapa Betcha Abapa Betcha. And it's not necessarily a huge issue, but it did make me notice that this particular inflection, the third person singular prefix, is going to lead to a lot of long words. And I'm thinking about ways that I could avoid it, because one thing, for your longest thing to be the third person subject, that's a little wild. For another, I don't really want the the I want to control how long words get. Their verbs are going to be pretty long in this language just because of all of the stuff that I'm sticking onto them. But I've got to write a whole bunch of incantations that need to be said within 6 seconds, right? Probably more like 3 seconds. And with kind of difficult vowels and all of that involved, it's kind of going to be tricky. So I was thinking about a couple of options. Either we don't have this prefix, just delete this prefix, or it actually gets reduced to just the vowel. So, and that wouldn't necessarily affect this. Like in fact, I would even probably say, no, I mean, not this example. Um, this one, because this starts with a vowel, I might actually keep the B, and it would end up still being that. Well, but actually, this particular example, it would would affect. This one, it wouldn't affect. It would still be. Wait, wait. If it was without the no, okay, no. This one, it wouldn't would affect. Instead of Abba Pem Abba Pema Uppa Betcha, it would be Upema Betcha. But this one would stay the same if we went that, because what I would do is it reduces the vowel, but the consonant stays there if there's a vowel after it. So that may be something that I ask you guys in a poll in a minute. But we're kind of like working in numbers for now. We got 2 votes out according to how many people are viewing on here. So uh, I'm gonna give guys just like 1 more minute to get those in before I close the poll. Which I don't know if you're gonna even get that by the time I close it. But ah, okay. All right, I'm gonna have to close that. Okay. So it looks like you guys prefer the transparent combination. So that means that, so 16. So I'll just add on to the table. 16 is gonna be Nugimbu Nugimbu. Uh 17 would be Nugimbu cha. And I think that's all we need to do. I don't think, if it's going to be like that, well, here, let me ask another poll, just to ask, are the teens notated differently? And we so the teens in this case is actually going to be 9 through 15. Is that right? Yeah. Like, is there a different formation process for the teens? Okay. Okay. It looks like that is not going to change. So I'm going to end that poll. And so we do have something different for 9 to 15. So I'm going to I'm going to put this above. So I'll just have 9 and 15 to highlight it. So, and let's go with a prefix. Prefix or a suffix? Prefix or suffix? No, let's go with. You know what? Let's figure out something else first, and then we can go back and decide how that's going to factor in. I also These are temporary. I think I'm going to be doing word order in a different way. When I actually go into things, but for now, I have worked out this. Since this is verb final, I only did it for the verb final languages because this is going to change. I'm going to probably do circumfix now. So I'm going to first determine whether numerals come before or after nouns. And I shouldn't have dropped my percentiles because I need them again. So let's show you guys the thing. And stop this sharing. And we're going to roll on the order of determiners and numerals in the noun. And this is going to inform things by giving us an idea of where the affix would come from. 21. Okay. And so we're going to share the screen. The entire screen. And then 21, that's between 1 and 38. That means that numerals and demonstratives precede nouns. So let me get that into is precede noun they modify. We're starting to get into like some really we're starting to get to where we can fill out our sentences more and get more complex things because we're starting to see how a noun phrase can work. While we're doing that, I happen to have the order of adjective and noun. I'm going to have to figure out how to roll for add positions later because I didn't work up that table. So let's go ahead and roll that. And that's a 20. 28. And according to our table here, for for verb final languages 1 to 34 is adjectives also precede the noun. So that's we're looking at a very strongly head final language here, just by the way things have worked out. So let's go ahead and get into my Draconic notes. Numerals, demonstratives, and adjectives precede the noun. They modify. So if we think of, if I have like numerals precede, adjectives precede, we can have an idea of like, okay, if it came from a noun, then it's going to be a suffix. If it came for an adjective, we haven't determined the relative order there. We can decide. So, but we do need to. We're going to have a word for more. That could be something we could have. Let's go into our Obsidian. Look at our lexicon and see if we have anything like a more above we don't have any of that yet. So we can think about like Ho-Trunk has Ashana, which is like above. We could have something that's a prefix to. I think I'm going to go with a prefix, and I'm not going to decide where it came from exactly. I'm just going to, I'll let you guys decide what the form of the prefix exactly is by doing what we've done before. And we're going to generate 5 lexifers. I'm going to say no to this one. No, I'm going to actually regenerate all of that because these are okay. This is better. I don't want to have a glottal stop in this one. So let's plug these things into Lexergy. And I'm going to unye. Why is that? What's going on there? That should not be how that works out. Am I accidentally blocking my vowel harmony? Let me double check and see that my vowel harmony makes any sense. That would be when there's one before. That should be anything in between. Let me see if there's what the bug is exactly. No. I'm having a problem with my vowel harmony rule. It's just not applying at all. I'm going to have to figure out what the problem with that is. But what is the form? I'm just going to manually do my vowel harmony rule so that it is these forms are correct. What is the form? What is the etymon for the teen prefix? And we've got 4 options for you. Do we have 5? And this is actually ejid, not ejid. And oh, I have this. I had this to test, and this should be unyi. Unyi. Okay. And see how people like it. See what people like here. So I have so much trouble with my vowel harmony. I know what happened. I forgot these. It's not a problem with the rule, it's a problem with my input. There we go. Now it looks right. Did that affect any of my numerals? No, they were all harmonized anyway. So we have, oh my goodness, it's a fight. It's a fight. So YouTube's telling me that I have one more person who could be a kingmaker here. So cast your vote here. Otherwise, I'm going to need a runoff. Or I'm just going to decide. which is entirely appropriate. It's totally fine. I'm making the rules here. It's my stream. I'm gonna leave that for a couple minutes. But I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a prefix. And we got to have. Or the dice decide. Yeah, I could do a d6 roll. Got a d6. Maybe that's what I should do from now on when I have ties in my polls. Do a d6 roll. You guys need to go out there and get more people to come to my streams. Then it's less likely that we'll have ties. Okay. Okay, I'm going to call this poll ended. And so we had a 3-way tie. And I will resolve that. So 1 and 2 is Ike. 3 and 4 is Ejid, and 5 and 6 is Unyi. And what was the roll? It's a 2. Yeah, it's a 2. Okay, so that is Ike. Ike. And I'm going to reduce. So, okay, I'm going to actually make this kind of irregular. So I'm going to list all of the numbers. So we've got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I better insert, no, yeah. I'd better insert a column. So that it's easier to understand what's going on here. So this is, and then right, that's what's going on with that. And then this is 2, 0, and this is 2, 1. And so we've got, take these, they all start with consonants, but we've got this ik. So each, ike, ikecha, iknyugi. I'm going to have the e come out. Ike. Oh, ikajad. But let's jump into Lexergy and figure out. So this is neutral. This is I have all of the original roots here, right? So we have equals 1. That was a equals 4. 64 equals 512, and this equals 4096. Okay, so we're going to have this. We're going to jump in. We need these ones. We want to jump into Lexergy. And where was I? Where was that? Okay. Where'd that go? Okay. And we're going to have this. So we'll go to Lexergy back up. If I go back, does it know? No. Uh, yeah, it doesn't remember that. So I'm going to have to get these in here, remove that part. At some point, I should probably do some of this stuff in a spreadsheet to make it easier to copy and paste and do all the things. But I'm going to treat these as affixes to the thing. So what's going to happen is we've got e. I'm just going to since it doesn't matter. So well, let's get the EQ. What is the form that you got that we chose here? Okay, well, like that. Treat this as the root so that we will hopefully get something interesting happen to like one or two of these. So, and then we apply it. So we get ikecha, ikenyugi, ikede, ikepi, ikujat, ikujat, ikujat. It became this one, ended up getting the okay, let me get in here. Let me get the correct thing up. It's going to inherit it's going to get harmonized to the prefix. And some prefixes will do this and end up becoming ikijad instead of ikajad. 5 is still ajad, right? Yeah. Is this right? Do I have things right here? Why do I not have gig? Oh, I didn't do those ones. Okay, I need to figure out ikecha, ikenyugi, ikete, right? Ikepi, ikejat. Ikegig. It just needs to be ikegig, right? Did I not have those in there? Let me check my lecture sheet. Did I? Okay, I just failed to put those in. Ike, ikegig, ikatra. So there's going to be some irregularity in how it applies. Ikatra. Um, and then that is our numbers from 9 to 15. And then from 16 on, it becomes there's no hexamal, there's no hexadecimal. But there is so this just becomes completely regular. But this is not really a sign of base 20. I wouldn't consider this a sign of base 20. It's still or a sign of base 16. This is still within an octal framework, just a little weird thing. Just like with English, we have this irregular 11, 12, and then 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. This teen suffix getting attached is a little bit of an oddball thing. And Ho Chunk has the uh, uh, Hijankiraj Ashana, Nup Ashana, Tripana Ashana. Those, it's it's a different thing. So this is so that's nice. We've got a tiny bit of irregularity in our numerals, and we have figured out all of our numerals. With this, you can count up to so what would be um let's insert here, and we're gonna go. So we need to know 4095, which would be actually 7777. This is how this is my main way that I gauge how my thing works. Is how do you type the one number? How do you type 9999 how do you do that? And it's going to be, in this case, so it would be at, why am I typing in Chinese suddenly? So atra jachazg atra ajachazg atra mbeg atra egim. Oh, it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Atrambu atra jachask atrambeg atraegim atrambu atra. And I'm sure, since I've got a lot of like multi-syllable words and stuff in there, I'm sure that that is not the typical way that dragons will state large numbers, because that's a mouthful. Maybe they'll just say atra 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 atra, or something like that. But we've got our numeral system down, and the only thing to do would be to like get into what you do for very large numbers, which is you just add a couple more roots for um I don't know, even for so whatever whatever the higher powers of 8 are that we're going to go with. What's going to be 490 4096 by 4096? What is that even? Right. Uh 4096 squared is is that right? 16,777,260. It's really guys, it's real hard to work in a different numeral base. So we'll have to have so if we I ever deal with big numbers, then I'll have to have like a word for this. But I'm not gonna worry about that now. Um and I I could just punt on it. Interesting to have a language with scientific notation built in. That's cool. It doesn't really fit the fantasy aesthetics so much, so I'm probably not going to do something like that. I might actually just punt and say that that number is jachazk, and be like that. Uh, because like this is fantasy world, the dragons are not necessarily thinking in terms of millions of things, so maybe that's fine. um what is the oh, they have a base converter. Oh, that maybe I'll have to do that if I do a whole lot with numbers. I don't expect to have to do a whole lot with numbers, which is one reason that I'm okay with not using base 10 numerals, because that way I'll be fine. I don't need to worry so much about it. Now, we have determined some the word order of nouns with the determiners and the adjectives. Um, how about I don't want to wait on this. Okay. The last thing I will leave you guys with when we come back, when I come back next week, then I'm probably going to do a little bit. I don't know classifiers. Fires. I don't think I've rolled anything for classifiers. Um, so I think I need to determine that before I go. So how about we have one poll and one roll to close us out? The poll is going to be, as I said before, my thinking is this uba, this two syllable thingy here, is contributing to some weirdness that's giving us is giving us words that are too long in the third person. And it would be okay to not have that at all. It would also be okay to have that reduced to one syllable. I'm going to give you guys in the chat the choice on that one. So we're going to go, I'm going to do a poll here right now. What should we do with the third person singular subject prefix? Truncate to so it's ub. Delete it. Delete it, as in like it doesn't exist anymore. It's third person is just a bare form there. So let's start the poll and see what we're going to do. I'm not going to leave it alone. I think I really want to change this. And this means that some of my Lexember thingies are going to change, but that's fine. It's a minor thing. I just want to make sure that I don't end up with that I limit the length of words. I was also considering truncating a couple of, making this instead of cha, making it just the ch. But I don't know. I think I can leave that. It's not too much of an issue. And for our role, since I keep not doing this role, so yeah, I only have this for at positions. I'm going to have to figure out. I'm going to have to make a table for preposition postposition to decide what I'm doing with that. But I will get that. But I need to find, where is my classifier one? This should be, is it in nouns? I was sure that I had a table for classifiers. Classifier. Maybe I only have it in Excel form. Classifier. Yeah, I have it here. Okay, yeah, I have one for classifiers. So we're going to make one roll and make this a nice one, hopefully. And why are, this is wild. Okay, you guys can see. Can you guys, no, this is my, this is things being delayed again. I don't know why it's that delayed. So we're going to roll on the classifier table. And we've got 60. 65. And 65, no classifiers. So this language does not have any classifiers. That's good to know. So there are no classifiers. Yeah. classifiers. What else? What else did I think about rolling? I need to. We've got adjectives. What nice tables do I have for adjectives? So what have I determined about adjectives? There's both bound and free. I have not decided whether. Okay. The class of a noun. I don't have noun classes. I did the comparatives. I don't think I ever actually determined whether adjectives would agree in number. So I'm going to. Did I? Oh, I did that for demonstratives. So we can decide whether adjectives also. And since there's morphological number marking on nouns, it's a little bit more common. So we're going to roll that. And 14, that's a no. Show you guys the die roll. It's a 14. So they do not agree in number. So there is no number agreement on adjectives. And now let's check this poll and see. Nobody voting. Okay. All right. I'm going to end that. And I'm going to make that decision myself then. I will think about that. And it looks like we are developing to a point where I need to get the adjective morphology figured out. I'm going to have to go into that and figure out what the comparative marking looks like. Adjectives precede nouns. That's something. No, I will determine for myself like what the order of elements are within a noun phrase, other than it seems like everything precedes a noun. I need to figure out whether we have prepositions or postpositions and make our preposition our adpositions there. And then after that, I'll be done with morphology and we'll have a good bit of syntax done. We will move on to some syntactic constructions, stuff like questions, statement versus question, uh, maybe topicalization, things of that nature. I don't think we need anything with topicalization because we have that free word order. We can just switch whatever's the topic to the front, and then we're going to just we're going to have the language done to the point where we can start translating soon. So watch out for maybe some polls on Patreon about where we're going to start with that. We'll have to. I will have to figure out how to determine that what we're going to do once I'm finished with this language. Oh, do we want to do a writing system? I have ideas for a writing system. Do I want to do that before or after my translations? I kind of want to get onto. I'm kind of not like a script guy, but the title of this series is Tongues and Runes, so I kind of feel like I have to make a script. Maybe I can try to rope somebody into helping me with that. So I don't know. We'll see what we can do with that. For now, though, um, I'm just saying the plan is I'm gonna get some basic constructions laid out, get like how to form questions and things like that, and get this language to a point where we can start translating or writing basically, and then we are going to move on and do all of the wizard cantrips, and I will in the SRD, and I will get that, and uh, probably will have votes on where to start, and uh, just be going through that um, in order to in order to get that, and then after that, any other spells, I will do those incantations on my own. That's going to be something for later. Um, and so that's the plan. Get get syntax done. Get maybe I will get some other like uh what would you say? It's some maybe I will get some other uh, uh things to no get syntax done. I'll continue building vocabulary as I go. Um, maybe we'll do some writing system. I will probably need time to build vocabulary anyway, so might be a time that I can spend on writing system as well. And then we're going to come back and translate all the cantrips from the wizard spell list, and then we're going to move on to the next language, which I will put up a Patreon vote for. So that one you can look up out for. All right. Anyway, thanks for watching and happy conlaying.